Opportunity to speak on this very important issue that is before the House at a time when the country's financial situation is in dire straits. But
you have nine minutes, Honorable.
Thank you, sir. But before I get on to that subject matter, since the Honorable Minister who preceded me made mention of Tamil political prisoners, I'd like to tell him that this is a matter that we have been agitating for, as far as I remember, from 2010 when I entered this house. We have not allowed even one session of parliament pass by without raising that issue. So for over a decade, we have agitated this. In the year 2011, His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, when he was Defence Secretary, facilitated me to visit prisons and obtain these details of these prisoners, which I did and gave the then President, Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa. So, for 10 years this has been talked about. You've expressed interest in doing something. No government ever said, no, we can't release them, but you kept them for 10 years. Even yesterday, it was strange that a minister from the government is pleading with the government. That's what the statement said. It's pleading with the government to work out a system of release. There was a prominent judge before whom I used to appear, and he used to say this. He would say, if somebody is threatening to mark a document, you can rest assured that the document will never get marked with the case. So if the government is continuously saying, oh, we are going to do it, we are going to do it, our suspicion is that they are not going to do it. So without talking, without saying this ad nauseum, release them. What is standing in the way of releasing them? You don't need 10, 11 years to be talking about this. It's quite obvious why you are talking about it now. That's what we pointed out yesterday. There was a statement day before yesterday and before that. The Prevention of Terrorism Act was brought into this country in 1979 for 6 months as a temporary provisions act. Even now it bears that name. I mean, that's how serious it is. It still is called Prevention of Terrorism Temporary Provisions Act for duration of 6 months. It extended in 1982. It was made permanent, but the title remains. When you are on this side, Honorable Dayasiri Jayasekara, you have attacked the Prevention of Terrorism Act. You have talked about political prisoners. And today you say you welcome it. Don't just keep welcoming it. Do it. We want to, there is no point of order in that. If you want to reply, you can reply to me at any other time. Right?
Just want to clarify. We never attacked the PTA when we are in the government. We wanted to change it. But the problem is the way it is going to be changed. The clauses that they wanted to put, we don't want to put that. Because the terrorism is somewhat developed now, Speaker. That was the issue.
Right, order, you can't let him go on like this.
Continue.
I mean, how much time did you give him? It is not a point of order. As he started, you knew it was not a point of order.
Right.
You couldn't have allowed him to take my time like that. Surely you know what a point of order is. So, all I am saying is, there is no point in just threatening to repeal it or threatening to change it. Just do it. Show it by your action. Just because some meeting is coming round, some report is due somewhere else, you jump and say these things. But you don't do it. I challenge Honorable Namal Rajapaksa, who said, I welcomed it yesterday without reservation because the government was trying to get a wrong message to the country to say that we are using it like a beggar's wound. and that we want them incarcerated, and that we don't want them released. That is far from the truth. We have agitated this, you know very well. Every session of parliament we have agitated for their release. And because you were trying to send a wrong message, without reservation, I welcomed it. But I'm challenging you, do it. Tomorrow is Poson. Release them. Release some of them immediately with the others that you will release. And release the rest of them immediately. None of them need to be incarcerated anymore. They are political prisoners. We have told you why we call them political prisoners. Honorable Surendra Raghavan went and sat behind Namal Rajapaksa to be seen in the videos yesterday when the announcement was made, and wrote today on social media saying that he played a small part in this. Right? He calls them political prisoners. A person in the government ranks calls them political prisoners. Right? So, they are political. No, your name, I will mention your name any number of times. You can't stand up when I mention your name. Right? You have to lick the boots of the government because you have got some position there. Right? Just, I challenge you. Honorable Raghavan, I challenge you. Let's see how many people you are able to release without
why do you want to get
this.
involved in this kind of thing?
Don't play. You are playing.
Yeah.
You are playing politics.
Both are responsible
you are
members
playing
of this
politics
house.
with prisoners'
Yeah.
lives. Right? That is what you are doing. You are right?
Yeah, Mr. Raghavan, can you please
Stop it.
raise
We
it
are
up and
doing
speak
this.
of-
You don't need 11 years.
Yeah.
You don't need 11 years. When
Yes,
Sunil
yes,
Ratnayaka was
Honorable
pardoned
Honorable
and released,
Raghavan.
how much time did
You
you
have
need?
been in the parliament for 15 years. You have been in the parliament for 15 years. What did you do? What did you do 15
Right,
years in
that's
the parliament?
All right. Now you continue with
All
this.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Sit down. Without barking, sit down. Right? I'll say what I did. I haven't been here for 15 years. I haven't been here for 11 years. All 11 years. I said that if you were not listening. Every session of parliament, we have asked for their release. We have done that. We sit in the opposition. We don't go licking the boots of the government and get positions like you. Right? We sit in the opposition and that's all we can do. And we have asked for that repeatedly. Now, we don't hang on to coattails of government and get positions. That is not what we do. Right? Turncoats like you, right, who don't have any policy. You come and ask us for nomination. Then go ahead and get nomination from the government. You don't have any policy.
I would like to ask Honorable Sumandaran, what did you do for last 5 years? Licking the boots of the government. What else? What else he has done?
Right, Mr.
Answer you,
Tinlakan.
more than 100 prisoners were released between 2000 and... Please sit down, sir.
Right.
Tell that dog not to bark.
So,
Right.
don't get involved that you go ahead with
so
your,
he
with
keeps
your
barking
speech.
behind me.
Why do you want to,
Ask him to get out.
worry about it?
Now, between 2015 and 2019, more than 100 Tamil political prisoners were released. I'm not satisfied with that. We pressed for the release of everybody. But if you ask, what did you do? We pressed for it. We sat in the opposition. We were not part of the government. Right? We were not part of... We are not like you. We are not like you. When Maithripala
Again, you are getting involved.
Governor,
Yeah,
then when
please.
you then come and sit here in the government
address it,
ranks.
yeah.
So I'll get on to the matter at hand. There is a very serious financial issue that the country is facing. And today, supplementary estimate has been presented, and the justification for that is COVID-19. We do appreciate that you need money, that you have to fight this hard. But it is only in this house that we can actually talk about whether you are doing that in the proper way. I'm glad two of the persons I wanted to mention are in the house today. Honorable Professor Tissavitarna is here. The most respected, most senior person in the field is part of the government. He's an MP. He's in parliament. One who knows about viruses more than most people is with you. I saw a few days ago, he had made a public statement saying the army commander doesn't know anything about viruses. Very true. Army commander doesn't fight viruses. He can't even see them. You have to look at it through a microscope. Honorable Professor Tissavitarna knows. Why don't you use him? Why are you using the army commander? The other person is Honorable Dr. Suhasini Vanapala, an expert in public health. That is her field, right? You appoint a minister in charge of COVID-19, but none of what she says happens in this country. And when she raised an alarm about money, now today you have presented a supplementary budget. When she raised an alarm about money, what did the chief opposition whip do? He went to the press and said, oh, she is under immense stress. Now, Honorable Mrs. Vanandapule, your whip wants you to be referred to a psychiatrist. That is what he was telling the people, right? Your chief government whip was referring you to a consultant psychiatrist. Now, when we have, I mean, this is a government that is so fortunate to have two people who must make decisions, who must take the lead, right? You have them with you, and you are fighting the virus like fighting some foreign troops. Give it to the army commander. What does the army commander know? What does the army commander know about even law? To say that there is a lockdown here, there is a travel restriction. Where is it? Where is it? A law must be in writing and must be published. Only then it qualifies to become a law. Right? Nothing. PMD, Presidential Media Division. Is that how laws are made? Now he is silent. Honorable Dasir Jayasekara, who have been in this house for so long. Is that how laws are made? You pride yourself calling yourself a Democrat. You give all that power to one man and he issues media statements. And that is considered law. He says, if I speak, that is a circular. Circular. That is the law. The circular law. Right? Okay. So now you can laugh. Right? You are enjoying what I'm saying. But you mustn't allow that to happen. If you are a responsible minister in the government, you must not allow that to happen. You are mismanaging this pandemic. That is why we are in the third wave now. You are unable to manage it. We will even have a fourth wave and more people will die. Right? There are variants happening. This is a new phenomenon. Right? Health authorities, health experts must take the lead in this matter. So we don't mind voting for supplementary estimates. You need the money. We do know that. Around this time last year, we even went to court, asking that Parliament be reconvened. And one of the reasons we asked for was to pass estimates so that it can be used to fight COVID-19. That time you did not want. You did it by executive fiat. Now you are coming to Parliament. This is a proper procedure. Another thing, you need laws. So I keep saying this not only because I have presented a bill, but you need laws. You need proper laws. A country must be governed by laws, not by executive fiat, right? Not at the whims and fancies of the army commander of the country. This house is redundant. This house has become redundant if this house cannot make laws for 1 year on this crucial issue. Most other countries, within weeks, made laws, special laws to combat this situation. And here, we don't want to do that. Why don't we want to do that? Because that will impede with the way the army commander will function. Right? He wakes up one morning and he decides how this must be handled. So, this money, you have Itukama fund. Right? Only after a question was asked about its utilization, you came up with 23% that has been used. In January, only 6% had been used. You have that money. You have called for funds. People are donating. Use that. Use that first. Up to now, only 1.3 billion. Only 300 million has been used. You have 1.75 billion in that account.
Honourable Member, you have consumed 5 minutes more.
I think there is more time, sir. Some of the honourable members have conducted another session of Parliament in the centre today and gone out. They may not come back. They are holding Parliament outside now, I am told.
But anyway, help me by finishing.
Thank you, sir. I'll wind up. So the only point I want to make is that we must get together and fight this. And we, on this issue and on many other national issues, we don't play politics. Please don't just to get popularity, accuse us of playing politics. But you are not utilizing members who have been elected by the people to get together and face this situation. You're not doing that. The constitution of our country is not designed in that way. True enough, the executive president is the head of the cabinet, but he's only the head of the cabinet. The executive consists of cabinet ministers and others. So we are a house of representatives. We must express the views of our people. We must participate in decision making, and we are appealing to the government. Do that. If you do that properly, we can win this battle against COVID-19. But if you go the way that you have gone so far, I'm afraid there will be no place to lay our heads. Thank you.
So, Honorable